Good evening and welcome to the Design Review Board meeting of Thursday, September 19th, 2024. I'll call the meeting to order and ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Seconded.
Hello, Tim.
Thank
Thank you.
Wherever you are.
All right. And consideration of the minutes from the August 15th Design Review Board meeting. Are there any amendments to the meeting minutes?
I have a couple. If we can help find that. Page 3, just before Daring closed the hearing, again at 6:32 p.m. Daring asked the applicant if they had any further input.
All right. Anything else, Harvey?
That's all I have.
Okay.
There are.
I had one thing regarding the motion that I made to deny the application as presented based upon the criteria for site design A and landscape design A. Be more specific there on what the motion to deny was.
What sheet was that?
That is on page 4 for motion.
We denied the entire application in that motion.
Based on the criteria for site design and landscape design. Yeah, did you have anything that,
No, I wasn't here.
well,
I think architectural as well, because architectural is the structure.
okay. Well, criteria. Right. Tim, you're okay? We'll ask
I
for a
didn't see
motion.
anything. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve minutes as amended?
A motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
Favor? Yes.
Aye.
All right. All right, moving on to public comment. Public comment is for non-hearing items only. And if you would like to speak regarding a public hearing agenda item, your comments will be considered during the public hearing portion of the meeting when the public hearing item is considered by the board. Are there any public comments? None. All right, and we will move on to our non-hearing consideration of a freestanding sign regarding DRB 24-24, Darwin Turner, Cannon Beach Design Company, applicant on behalf of the Retreat at Cannon Beach for a freestanding sign. The property is located at 415 First Street in a manufactured dwelling and RV park zone. The application will be reviewed against the criteria of Municipal Code Chapter 17.44-080, 17.44.100 Design Review Criteria. And staff report.
Good evening. The applicant requests design review approval for the replacement of existing freestanding signage at the Retreat at Cannon Beach. The subject property was formerly the Sea Ranch RV Park. The proposed signage will utilize the existing support framework and be shingled over. Moving into the approval criteria from Chapter 1762 of the Municipal Code. The proposed signage will be the proposed signage will be two-sided and measure 5 feet by 3 feet for a total of 15 square feet, not including the support structure. Only one side of the double-faced sign is counted in measuring sign-faced area. The proposed signage will have the same orientation on First Street as the existing sign. The height of the existing support structure is less than 16 feet in height above grade and will not be modified as a result of this application. The application materials indicate that the largest letter height will be 7 inches. Application materials indicate that the sign will be constructed from cedar wood and use black and white paint for imagery and lettering. The application indicates that the body of the sign will retain natural wood coloring. Again, as stated before, the total sign area is 15 feet and no additional signage is proposed at this time. And that concludes the staff report.
All right, thank you, Robert. Is there a presentation by the applicant?
Well, I think it's. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Are there any presentations by the proponents? Any presentations by opponents? Any staff response?
Could I ask one question real quick? I think Darwin, that this is gonna be carved in set letters, correct?
Yes,
As far as giving it dimension and things like that, so it's not flat.
yeah, it's being
Ask.
sandblasted and being cut.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve the sign permit?
I have a question.
All
Can
right,
we talk about it?
well, we can have a discussion, absolutely.
So this is the logo, the tent and that's carved in?
The. Come up and, I guess. Arwen Turner, P O Box, 488, Cannon Beach. Yeah, that's their logo, and the tint and the frame of that'll be raised. And then behind that will be black, sandblasted in. So it'll be raised a little bit.
And it's this green color or
What's
like
that?
a hunter green? I can't tell if it's black or green. Oh, maybe it's black. Okay,
It's black.
so I'm confused. The tent is raised and then the lettering's engraved?
The lettering is raised and V carved in.
Oh, kind of like the Anna's table.
Yeah, very similar to that. Yeah,
And it's actually wood and painted,
yes.
not decals?
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Wood stained and painted. The white,
Because he said wood coloring and I was like,
yeah,
so is that actually wood or is that wood coloring?
it's actually wood.
Okay.
We may, do a stain on it to get it a cohesive color, but.
And that's gonna be on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, so. And actually. So
And is the outline white? Is that,
the outline is a off-white, yeah.
okay.
The border, you mean? Yeah, and that's,
So, yeah, their tan is representative of a wood coloring. That's,
yes.
okay. Yeah, I was like, this is, okay. Okay. You're saying,
I have no questions.
as long as it looks like wood
Yeah,
and not wood with a decal on it, I'm okay with it.
so I would move that we approve the signage as presented.
I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Right.
All right, very good.
Right.
Yeah. And now we'll move on to the public hearing and consideration of DRB 24-23. A quasi judicial hearing regarding Seamirth Walker, applicant and property owner, to replace one unit of a detached two-family dwelling. The subject property is located at 611 North Beach in a residential medium-density zone. The application will be reviewed against the criteria of Municipal Code, Chapter 17.44.080 through 17.44 Design Review Criteria. Does anyone object to the jurisdiction of the Design Review Board to hear this matter at this time? Does any commission member believe he or she has a conflict of interest or personal bias?
I don't have a conflict of interest or personal bias, but I'm going back to the fact that during the code that Marcy's saying that when we're talking about ADUs or duplexes, that's not to Oregon law. And I have a problem with the fact that the city's actually asking us to break.
You would be objecting to the jurisdiction of the Design Review Board to hear this?
That's our, I mean, I've talked to Robert about it, but that's in our city code. But what has a higher, I'm confused by it.
Steve?
Yeah.
What is
I came in and tried to.
staff reading on that?
At this point in time, the zoning ordinance reads that anything other than a single family home needs to come to the design review board. It's a matter that's being discussed as part of our code audit, and that hasn't been tweaked yet at this point in time. So my take on it at this point in time is because this is in there, that's why the applicant is here before you today.
Yeah, I think Michelle is citing that there are state law that maybe for larger cities that may apply.
Right. That's a discussion point, but until our code is changed, the staff's perspective is at this point, we would continue to have these come before you.
The state law does not apply to us.
I'm not saying, I'm not as familiar with that, and that's something that we would be taking a look at.
Can we proceed?
Yes.
Right. Noted your objection. Has any commission member had an ex parte contact or made a site visit? I thought the pictures were very well presented, so I didn't feel the need to do a site visit. So thank you very much for that. Yeah. And
Just one comment. We have a similar building that my sons built maybe 35 years ago. They copied your building. And so mine will be the last known remnant of that.
all right, thank you. And staff report, please.
Thank you. The applicant proposes the replacement of an existing unit of a detached two-family dwelling as the unit is no longer considered to be suitable for continued use. The subject property is a 20,000 square foot parcel that is developed with two detached dwellings and an accessory structure. The other dwelling unit on the property was constructed in 2018. This application was brought before the Design Review Board as required by Municipal Code 1770-020A. Applicability, which states that all new construction or new development except for single-family residence, mobile home, modular home, and their accessory structures requires design review. Moving into the approval criteria for the design review standards and site design evaluation criteria. Staff comment is that the site plan included in Exhibit A7 indicates that the structure will be constructed in the same location as the one it will replace. It will be located approximately 45 feet east of the western property line and approximately 25 feet north of the southern property line. The site is accessed by a driveway that runs along the southern portion of the property, connecting it to Beach Street. The paved parking area and carport will be located along the eastern side of the new building. The property north of the subject property is a wetland lot of record, and the site plan shows a 50-foot wetland buffer boundary required by Municipal Code 17102 Wetlands Overlay Zone. No work will take place within the boundary. Moving into the architectural design evaluation criteria, the comment is the design schematics included in Exhibit A7 indicate that the dwelling will have an 880 square foot rectangular structure with a 10-foot wide carport along its facade. It will have a low pitched shed roof with a maximum height above grade of 13 feet 6 inches. Exhibit A9 indicates the dwelling will be clad in hardy board and batten siding painted Benjamin Moore 1616 Stormy Sky with 1617 cheating heart trim. Windows will be of a black fiberglass design and the roof will be clad with a white TPO membrane. Exterior light fixtures will be downward cast and not provide illumination outside of the immediate area of the building. And for the landscape design evaluation criteria, the comment is that landscaping information provided in Exhibit A10 indicates that the existing lawn, shrubs, ground covers, ferns, rhododendrons, and native trees will be retained. The applicant's arborist report in Exhibit A4 refers to one 26-inch diameter breast height red alder that is presenting multiple cavities and decay problems on the main stem. Removal and replacement of this tree has been recommended by the arborist. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Robert. Was there any additional correspondence? At this time, we'll call for public testimony. Pertinent criteria to be considered are noted in the staff reports and listed on the criteria sheets posted on the meeting page of the city's website. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed toward the criterion or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or municipal code which the person testifying believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal based on that issue. Prior to the conclusion of the initial evidentiary hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional testimony, arguments, or evidence regarding the application. The Design Review Board shall grant such requests by continuing the public hearing or leaving the record open for additional written testimony. Persons who testify shall first receive recognition from the chair, state their full name and mailing address, and if appearing in a representative capacity, identify whom they represent. Is there a presentation by the applicant?
Yes.
Yes, please proceed.
Good evening. My name is Mirth Walker and my mailing address is 4910 Southwest Richardson Drive, Portland, Oregon, 97239. We are here before you now because of the CB code regarding duplexes defined as two dwellings on one lot, regardless of an attached wall or not. Our site address is 611 Beach Street, which sometimes is 611 North Beach Street, but sometimes it isn't. So you can have it both ways there. My mother bought the property when I was 12. And my husband Bradley Coffey and I have been caretaking the place for many years. When she passed in 2012 at the age of 94, I was able to purchase it from my three siblings in 2013. And as you heard, in 2016, 2017, we built a new cabin in the backyard that's a 2-bedroom cabin with occupancy granted in 2018. The existing cabin, the old 1957 cabin that we want to tear down, has 4 bedrooms, and we'd like to replace 2 of those in the new structure. And I am prepared to go through the slideshow that was appended to our packet if you think it's necessary, or if that's overkill, I'm happy to skip that step.
Well, I appreciate the effort that you put in, and if you would like to show us, I would be happy to look at it, but I don't know that it's absolutely necessary, so I would leave that to your discretion to share with us.
As Bradley likes to say, plan the dive and dive the plan. So we will proceed. Hi. We are proposing to demo the old cabin as it is failing. Makes people sick when they come in, they tear up and they say, I can't be in here. So they have to leave and either find a hotel or go home. So that is the reason that we're here. I really wanted to save the cabin as much as possible. We tried to salvage it and it's not salvageable. So it's come to the end of its life. And I don't want to have to caretake it through another winter for many reasons. So our site's located in the north end of Cannon Beach. We're the last house on the right on Beach Street. On the tax lot map, you can see that Ecola Park Road, I don't think I'll be able to point, no. Ecola Park Road is on the left-hand side of the map. The old Cannon Beach Road, which joins to Highway 101, is on the right-hand side. And The site location or the site size is 20,000 square feet, 100 by 200. And as stated in the staff report, we're zoned R2 medium density residential. Our existing site survey shows the gravel driveway along the south end of the property. The old cabin is the first structure that you see on the left. The playhouse is next to the north, and then our new cabin, 2018 cabin, is on the right-hand side of the screen. We have many large mature conifer trees on site and also surrounding the site. And I think that's what I wanted to say on that slide. Zooming into the old cabin's footprint, it's relatively flat. As you can see, there's like 1 foot difference between the front and the back of the house. And you can see the deck off to the north of the old cabin with the red alder that was mentioned that is decaying and needs to come down. We will not be rebuilding the deck. This is a view from Beach Street east towards the cabin. You can see with the amount of vegetation we have, it's very difficult to see. This is a panorama showing the tiny little orange property corner stake on the left-hand side and the driveway going up to the right with neighbors to the right there. And the view up the driveway on the top left, moving up the driveway, you get to the corner of the old cabin. Moving further up, you see the oriel windows, view to the north, and then just past the cabin, looking back down the driveway. Moving around the house to the back, you can see where our siding is failing there as well. The playhouse is in the back. On the right will be retained. The top right photo shows the front part of the house, or the north part of the house, with the deck and the alder in the deck showing cavities. And then the view to the north is of an off-site Sitka spruce that is one of the magnificent trees we have surrounding the house. I should note that there's 13 acres to the north that was proposed for development back in 2007, 2008. That's when we were annexed into the city. We were outside city limits before that. Luckily, with the downturn in the economy, that was not built. So hopefully that never will happen. The arborist, I think it used to be the city arborist, looked at the tree and gave it the highest hazard rating possible for immediate action needed to remove. And our site development plan. Proposing to remove the old cabin and replace it with a smaller, simpler structure, 22 feet wide by 40 feet long, with an attached 11-foot wide carport, covered carport. Shows also that our footprint is outside of the 50-foot buffer from the offsite wetland to the north, and we were well within the required front and side yard setbacks, the envelope of those. So there's 15 feet in the front and back, rear, and then 5-foot side yard setbacks. You can see the pink outline of the old cabin. We're pretty much staying within that footprint with a little bit less square footage than what was there. And then we'll have a concrete apron coming into the carport with a gravel apron connecting to the driveway, and then a flat concrete patio north of the existing or the to-be-built carport. Again, staying out of the wetland buffer as much as possible. Totally staying out of the wetland buffer. All right, and we go through the elevations very quickly. I do have a sample board here if you're interested in looking at finishes. We're doing board and hardy board and batten primarily for fire resistance. And then we have the membrane roof on the main structure, and the carport will have a polycarbonate roof. So this is the elevation from the driveway. And then the west elevation from Beach Street with the membrane roof shown. The north elevation with operable windows so we can have passive cooling. And then this is the view from the new cabin's front porch with 2 entry doors and fully sheet in your packet with the finish legend shown on the board. We have 2 doors into the structure from carport, and we have 2 windows from the 2 bedrooms in the northwest and northeast and southwest corners. Northwest, those 2 corners. Utilities are coming up the driveway and we'll enter the utility room in the lower left. And I think that, yeah. Exterior finishes in your packet are examples of the hardy board and batten in the upper left. It's similar color, and then the lower left is black fiberglass. The photo on the right is our front door to the 2018 cabin. We're going to try to source similar doors to have the mirror image going into the new structure. We're far below the percent coverage of landscape, or the percent of the site covered by structures is 14%. Which is below the maximum of 50%. It's shown as the 2018 cabin. And about 68% of the lot is landscape, more than the 40% requirement. We'll need to do very little grading to other than excavating the new foundation. It's essentially flat. The downspout foundation drains will be routed to the north to follow the natural downslope, and this will provide maintaining the hydrological flow to the wetland to the north. And the landscape plan, we have lots of ferns and rushes and rhododendrons and native trees covering the site. We have our surrounding off-site mature conifers, and any soils disturbed by construction will be restored to natural condition when we're done. All of the utilities come up from Beach Street in the driveway undergrounded, except for the sewer, which is routed to the south through an easement from our neighbor. And this is an example of the type of lights we'll have that's fully down shielded, and they are emitting less lumens than the code limit. So in summary, we are going to remove our old cabin and replace it with a new smaller cabin that meets modern building codes. We're requesting no variances. We consider the project to be entirely consistent with the DRB guidelines and are happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would agree. That is an exemplary application and presentation, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a presentation by proponents? Presentation by opponents? Staff response. Right. And no additional statements from the applicant?
If you want, we could maybe close the hearing.
I didn't know if anybody had questions of the
Oh,
applicant.
I'm sorry. Right.
Well, if anybody had anything that they wanted to say,
You want to look at this?
applicant, and if you wanted to look at.
If you want to.
Very well.
And nobody lives in either of the cabins?
Pardon?
Nobody lives in either of the cabins?
It's our second home. We've spent a lot of time here, but our primary residence is in Portland. We've never rented out either cabin and have no plans. Life long-term would be nice, but certainly not for short-term.
Yeah. Oh, it's just for family use? Is that?
Yes, it's for family.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to be the best caretaker I can for the property, and the old cabin needs to go, and it's failing.
Just curious.
Tim, are there any comments or questions?
No, I thought it was a very thorough application as well.
Right, then we'll close the public hearing and move to motion to approve site plan.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All All right. Is there a motion to approve the architectural design?
I'll do it. Motion to architectural design.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, it's the last one. It won't be painful.
So,
Is there, do you have something?
No.
Okay. And a motion to approve the landscape design.
Motion to approve the landscape design.
Second,
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Approved.
Yay.
Criteria. Thank you.
Thank you all.
There a motion for the chair to sign the appropriate orders.
I move the current chair sign the appropriate orders.
And a second,
Second.
everybody in favor?
Aye.
Right. All right, next is to verify the November and December meeting dates.
Those are the regularly scheduled dates. Just thought since we're getting close to Thanksgiving and to Christmas holiday that we just put this out there for the 11/24. Thanksgiving is the next week. And with 12/19, Christmas is the following week. So those are typically our regularly scheduled meetings. Just wanted to put that out there just in case anyone has any issues. So we could let applicants be aware if we need to make any changes or things like that. So I don't know right now. That's what we had. I just kind of wanted people to start thinking about it, just in case, if anything next month, if we needed to make any changes, it would be good. But we just thought we'd put it on there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I guess I would ask, do you foresee something that will need to be reviewed in the November or December meetings?
Yeah. We should have a good feel in October what we got coming in November and the same for that. So it was more of just something to, I guess, for the board members to start considering if they know they're already going to be out of town or something. Just a heads up.
Okay,
So I don't think there's any real action. It was more just kind of something to think about.
okay. Thank you. Any feedback from anyone regarding those dates? Their availability to be at a meeting potentially?
And that's fine. If no one has anything, can come, it's just something to think about.
Yeah,
They're open for me right now.
I guess, around the holidays, I'd like to give everyone time to enjoy it. So if there was nothing pressing.
Right. Yeah. And if that's the case, but at least it's the week beforehand. So that's good.
Appreciate that.
A lot of times I just want to make sure, because if we don't have people that are going to be here, I don't want the applicants coming in and all of a sudden we don't have a quorum.
Sure. Okay. All right. So at this point, it looks like we'll all be available if.
Sounds good.
All right, then. Moving on to the fun part, good of the order. Well, I have a couple things. One, it's been brought to my attention a few times, regarding a business close by that is perhaps I would say most definitely in violation of outdoor merchandising and prohibited signs. And that is the Tommy Bahama board that's barbecuing out in their parking lot. And I'm just wondering what's up with that?
They had submitted and received a special event permit to do that a couple times in September, I believe. I'll have to take a look at that, but I know that's what they had applied for. So that was the reason why they were able to get, have that a couple of times. I can research that more and check out what the dates were, but that was what, they asked, I believe it was asking to do that, once a week for, I think it was September. So I gotta take, I haven't looked at it in some time, but I can get back to you on that.
So, well, explain to me what an event specific, so if they're having an event every week, I mean, what are they? What are they,
They're having I guess y'all see it.
so
I guess that's the best thing I can say.
their own business by barbecue and.
And they
Yeah,
have decals all over their
Well, and
windows.
that's, yeah, you know, the decals are not.
They did that before downtown too. It's the same company.
okay.
Did it downtown in 2 different locations.
So we can also we'll talk to Daniel as well on that.
Yeah, I mean, because the decals aren't specific to their name of the business, it's to their products.
Yeah,
So that's where I'm wondering, just what violations that might.
And they have like
Okay.
benches
And then-
just in the DP spots.
And that's another thing
Yeah.
that, you know, they're taking up their parking. They do have parking in the back, but there's an ADA spot
Right.
that is being used by picnic tables. So anyway, I mean, I've just been approached like, what is going on? Because this is such an unusual
yep,
occurrence for one specific business to have barbecue on site with picnic tables with a banner that doesn't speak to whatever event it is that they're promoting. It just says burgers, brats, dogs.
right.
So I don't know that promoting food is an actual event.
I can get back to you on that. Let me do research and I will respond back to you.
That's where, you know, just as ARB, I've been asked numerous times,
Sounds good.
why is that? You know, I mean, that just seems to be the epitome of what our code is trying to prevent.
I will provide you an answer to that information.
So much. Okay, all right. I will let people know about that. And the other thing was the Midtown bathrooms, and I'm just wondering what happened to the orange bench and where that is being stored and what's going to ultimately happen.
I know there was a lot of discussion on the bench.
I think it's going back.
I think it's gone back. I think what was happening was, because I think we just had it repainted and things like that. So I don't believe that it's gone anywhere. It's just that during the construction, it was being removed for that time. I can check with Karen, but I'm almost positive that it's going back. Yeah.
I think it's up at the yard. My understanding is it's going back.
Okay, I mean, I don't have any necessary you know, feelings for it other than I wondered what happened to it and what its
Yep.
future might be. So,
Maybe it's with the gender neutral bathrooms.
well, it could be.
It could
It
be.
very well could be because it's definitely gender neutral.
Well, that'll have to happen.
Okay,
I'm almost positive it's going back.
just
get back
curious.
to you on that,
Okay.
but
Are there plans somewhere to see? I mean, is it basically what was presented to DRB back in January of 2023?
probably have plans as far as construction plans for the
we've got
permits and
plans.
things like that.
Because I know that there was, during the appeal, there were some recommendations made by council for the foot washing station and perhaps lockers. So I didn't know if those were being incorporated with,
And a bottle fill station.
I think the bottle bill station is. I don't remember all the rest of it.
but I know that those were some, you know, just for the bus stop, that was something that was recommended by council was maybe some lockers and a foot washing station. So I wasn't sure if those were being incorporated in this current construction design.
I'd like to go on record that in 15 years, they'll probably have to make it gender neutral because it'll be the law.
15 years.
I don't know. I'm not
I
sure
mean, it's
what all,
already a law in California.
I don't know exactly all that they're doing, Michelle. So I know that, I think they're probably sensitive to that since it's been brought up a couple times. So we'll hope that that's something that they're incorporating at this time. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I think-
Go to the order.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. This has got to be a record.
No, we had one shorter once.